In this video, we'll talk about working with non-adaptive homework. That will be homework 5 through 7. The non-adaptive homework is accessed through the assignments list. Once those are available, they'll show as open here. I've changed the date here so we can demonstrate this, but these will typically open up in week 3 of the class for you. So topics 5, 6, and 7 homework are all non-adaptive. We left click on a specific item, say the topic 5 homework, to access it. There's a little note here that indicates that once we start the homework, we have to finish or save it for later before we can work on anything else. That means that if you've started the homework and you want to switch to working on a quiz or adaptive homework, then you have to save or exit the homework before you're allowed to do that. Otherwise, you'll have to wait for a timeout period that I think is about an hour or so. To access the questions, you'll see the number of questions at the top. You press start down at the bottom. And this is slightly different from the adaptive homework. Here, you'll see a list of question numbers at the top. You'll notice that you can select any of the questions to work on. There are no prerequisites, so you can work on these in any order. Also, you complete each question only once. So you have to answer correctly only once. Once you've finished, you actually can go back and retry questions, so that lets you practice with the skills later on if you feel you'd like additional practice. As soon as you answer one question correctly, then later practice won't take that away from you. So you'll always have full credit for a question if you've answered it correctly at least once. Like with the adaptive homework, you've got a help menu on the right. There's tools. An explanation will show you the answer to the question you're currently looking at, but it will then also give you a new question. So you would use that if your answer is incorrect and you want to see how to do it correctly. The example is like the pre-question example for the adaptive homework. So that gives you an example of the type of question and goes over steps that you would use to solve it. So that can be useful. You can make notes and then you can use those when you're working on the question. And sometimes you'll have videos related to a particular skill. Access to the book. The message center can be useful here. I had mentioned in a previous video that with the message center, you can include a link to your specific question, which allows your instructor then to take a look and give you targeted feedback for that question. Once you've completed work on the assignment, you can either save for later or submit the assignment. Note that you do need to use submit assignment in order to register the score in the ALEKS system so that it gets appropriately moved over to Halo. Even if you press submit assignment, you can come back and you can continue working. So effectively, these are similar. Save for later simply saves your work without submitting it. So you'll want to make sure that when you complete your non-adaptive assignment, then you press the submit assignment, at least at that point. When you answer questions here, there's the same check button down at the bottom left. And again, you only need to answer each question correctly once for the non-adaptive homework. Once you're done, you can go back to the main menu and continue working on another task there.